Hello everyone, this is Thor Young with Bear Bull Traders, and I would like to do a recap on my trades for you today. I traded two tickers, CCL and Twitter, and had some pretty good trades on both. All three trades were winners today, which is real nice. Got a great move out of Twitter, so I'll walk you through that. Also, did an ad. We had a question in our chat room about how to do ads, and that, so I thought I'd cover how I do them, and then we'll go from there. Before I get kicking, guys, if you could just take a minute and ring the bell and subscribe. A part of this recap that I'm going to go through is going to talk about levels as well and how critical they are for taking good trades. And if you watch our pre-market show, you're going to get all of these levels from Carlos. So if you're having a little bit of trouble finding exactly where your levels are, Carlos and Norm pre-market shows got that for you. All right, so CCL, basically what I do for in the pre-market is I kind of play the price action as it goes. So it's not really much about candles. It's really more just about levels, L2, and what's going on. So one thing I noticed here with CCL was it actually opened up with basically zero volume. It was just sitting here and nothing was going on. But I was looking at it, and then it kind of broke above 2350 on a lot of buying volume, and you could see it really coming across the time and sales. You could also see that the L2 was really getting hit on the ask really fast. So I went ahead and I took a long position on it, got some nice partials just shy of 24, and then stopped out at break even. It actually hung out here for a second. I was really thinking, man, this is going to be a big short. I should go short. I just didn't have the ability to do it, so I couldn't pull the trigger. And then I just watched it FOMO just run away from me. But anyway, so I moved on to Twitter. So Twitter was a little bit fun. So when I'm talking about pre-market levels, what I'm talking about is Carlos will go through and he will pull out these daily levels that are just amazing. So the level that Carlos pulled and everyone else pulled that I thought was really nice was 33.11. Why I like 33.11 is because the way it goes through this area here, kind of splits off these candles, not precisely, but it splits them well. And then more precisely, it's got lots of respect tests on both sides, tops, bottoms, all over the place right in here in this consolidation period on this daily here for Twitter. Last time it was in this range, right? So I really liked that level a whole lot, and that's the one I decided I was going to keep an eye on. Now you'll notice here on my 1 minute, Twitter opened and I was playing CCL at the time, but it came back down and then it got to 33.11, and look, right to it to the penny, it threw indecision. It threw even more indecision, and then it had a nice bullish candle come off of it. It set up here. It really looked good for a continued move up. So as soon as it sold off just a titch, as soon as it made a new high, I went ahead and went long on it up to VWAP, where I took a partial market fill, so it split. And then I took another partial just shy of pre-market low and unfortunately stopped out at break even. When that stopped out, the SPY actually kind of did a little bit of a hard sell-off right there for a minute, and I think that's what took it down. But after it sold off, it came back up here and it came back to VWAP, and after it got back above VWAP, I decided I was going to go ahead and get into this thing. So I went long at VWAP, and my loss was going to be the loss of this prior candle. So not too bad, about a 20-cent risk. So not too bad to manage at all. So I went ahead here, took a partial at pre-market low, and then took partials at intervals up to pre-market high, which is exactly what I liked. So now let's talk a little bit about adding. So the important part of adding is not to have too much expectation out of the additional money you're going to make out of your ad. So ideally, an ad is a good way for you to get a little bit of extra money on top of what you've already done. So let's say you've already made $400 for the day. An ad is a nice way to make an extra $50 or an extra $100. It's not really a way to generically make another double of your position, because your strongest entry was always your first entry, most likely. So you see I got in here at VWAP. I had a really nice move up to pre-market high. At pre-market high, I dropped down to only 20% of my entire position. Right, so I didn't have a whole lot left on, and then when I came down here and it was holding the 9 moving average, I went ahead and I added in. Now, when I added in, my stop loss was the loss of this partial, which actually I made it the loss of 34 just to be safe. So you can see there's an incredible amount of distance still available for this stock to sell off. So it gives my ad the ability to work, but without adding any undue additional stress. And that's why I call it the free roll, because I generically use my unrealized profit in order to do this ad. And then I call it a free roll because it's stress-free. Because once you're added in, you're just risking some of that unrealized. If it breaks back down, you've still got your profit all locked away nice and tight in there. No risk to that. Now, one thing I should have done is I actually was going to add some more at 34.23, because what happens is after this sell-off, we set up this clear support right here. Right? So at this point, you can add here, and if you lose this support level, you no longer want to be out. And at that time, although I didn't add, I actually moved my stop up to that point until I took a couple partials and used my break-even key, and now it's back where it used to be. But so you can see here, I let that move through pre-market, and then I went all the way up to 34. I took a partial at 34.75. I saw a pretty decent stack of asks at 34.80, and I also saw another daily level coming up near there. I actually had someone in the chat room, thank you very much, call that level out. So I took a partial there, which I'm glad I did. And now Twitter has managed to roll over and drop back down. The SPY also losing it quite heavily. So now at this point, I'm going to actually keep an eye on it, and if Twitter can manage to hold somewhere around this support level, right, because we still have support here and make a new high, I may go ahead and add back in for the loss of VWAP as a new free roll. So you can play this position up and down. Worst case scenario, it's going to come all the way back down and stop me out. I'll probably get the rest of my position off if it loses VWAP, but at that point, you know, I took a big partial here, so there's not really enough money in there really to make it worth partialing at that point, so I might just let it slam all the way back down to this break even. Either way, did great on Twitter today, rocked through daily goal. I've got a little bit on CCL, and that's my day for the day. So I hope everyone had a great one. I hope you're all keeping it green, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.